Dr. Archana, I would like to start by asking you, no matter what we all Indians, most of the Indians at least do professionally, but we all tend to become doctors when it comes to discomfort. Do you think as a society we really need to start consulting doctors before we just start popping pills?
Absolutely. As you very correctly said, we actually have 3 doctors in every household. So there is a prescription which happens off the telephone without actually consulting the doctor. And now this really isn't something that one would want to say for mefenamic acid or meftelzar. This is a culture that we need to imbibe as a society, that if you have a problem, you consult a doctor, take a prescription, get the medicine off the shelf or otherwise, but only on a prescription. And the day we begin to realize that there is no demerit or there is no, we don't look smaller if we go to a doctor and take a prescription, and the chemist, the provider at the other end, does not give you a medicine without a prescription because that's what he's meant to do. We actually deal with a lot of problems of this kind.
Right. Dr. Vikramjit, coming to you now, do you believe it's high time that the government actually puts in very strict rules, even to the extent of going to ban the sale of these over-the-counter tablets without any prescription? Because this is usually what happens. People usually tend to know some of the shops where you can just go, ask for a medicine and without any questions, they'll give you that medicine. So do you think there has to be some rules in place from the government's end so that at least this practice to a large extent is curbed?
Ma'am, actually, there are rules placed from the government side. The government has been telling, and it's been directing the chemist not to sell some drugs which are scheduled drugs to the chemist that you do not dispense them. But then the chemists, they do that. So there's a need, of a tighter control on these pharmacies where you can get drugs. There are some drugs, which even physicians not supposed to authorize, the super specialists to write it, but still. The chemist shops, they do dispense some sedations, and this is a problem when people come to us with addictions. Same way, the non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, the painkillers, people keep on eating them for years for arthritis and all, and they ultimately come to us, ending with a kidney disease or with a heart disease. So I think this onus lies on the pharmacies who are dispensing these drugs without any prescription. So this is wrong, and it has to be stopped if we want a healthy society, as well as the people also have to have their social responsibilities to consult the doctor and not to take without the prescriptions.
Dr. Vikramjit, you are making a very scary statement here. You are saying that if there is a drug which someone has been taking for a long time, say for a span of 10 years or 15 years, it could actually lead to a lot of other problems. Like you were speaking about the fact that some of the drugs in the long run, over a course of a decade or more, can actually damage your liver and also damage your kidney.
Ma'am, that is true in the case of NSAIDs, which is a very normal pill, which we think the hare patte ki goli, the people say. That is in fact a painkiller. And if you keep on taking these painkillers for a long time, they do have a detrimental effect on your kidneys as well as your, heart problems. So if suppose you have underwent a bypass surgery and you start taking these non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, they can even cause internal bleeding. Long-term can result in kidney damage, and the most common drugs which are taken over the counter are the painkillers. Hare patte ki goli, Finac Plus, which comes by the name Saridon, etc.
Dr. Archana, the latest advisory from the government has now come in, and the question on the woman's mind is what next? What actually can be a substitute? Or would you advise the women who are watching the show and women at large that, just make sure that when you eat the tablet, A, your doctor knows about it, and B, you yourself also need to monitor what the medicine is doing inside?
To begin with, first of all, as we've been talking along this show and often discussed, menstrual cramps during periods are a very common occurrence. If you have pain severe enough to make you stop going to work or going to school, or it makes you be in bed for the whole day, then that is a pain that is a bit pathological, and for that you need to consult a doctor. There could be a cyst related to this, there could be fibroids in the uterus related to this. So if you have a pain which is, which doesn't ease with simple home remedies like having hot sweet drinks, putting a hot water bag, doing a bit of acupressure if you're used to that, or the general things that one would do to ease out pain. If your pain does not go away with that, then that is a pain that your doctor needs to know about. So go to a gynecologist, figure out whether there is a pathology related to it or it's a pain that's just a normal menstrual cramp arising from the periods that we call dysmenorrhea. Once you have established dysmenorrhea with no etiology, try simpler methods, try lifestyle modification, and if still that does not work, then get your doctor to prescribe you the right interval to take the drug. Sit with your doctor, let your doctor get a chance to counsel you about the side effects that you have to watch out for and the duration that you have to watch it out for. Now, side effects from mefenamic acid, the very talked about DRESS syndrome, may actually take up to 8 weeks to surface. So you really need to know what to look out for, how long to look out for, and what is the right usage of the drug, and what are alternatives to this medicine that you could think of in case you don't want to use it. So a simple paracetamol, though saying that popping paracetamol like a sweet, again, has to be deplored completely, but paracetamol would be an option. There would be other drugs that could be options, but those are drugs that you don't decide or the chemist doesn't decide. It's for the healthcare provider to decide and guide you through that.
Dr. Archana, my last question to you, if you can just sum up for the people and especially for the women, what should be the next course of action? Because, this advisory has come for one tablet. It could, very well come for some other tablet also.
See, any medication that you're taking, as I often tell my patients, that there is no chemical that you're popping inside your body which has no side effect at all. So every medicine will have a side effect. It is only person to person, drug to drug, how it varies, how severe it may be for you and may not be severe at all for anybody else. So which is something for all medication, do not take any medication without consulting your doctor. Sit with your doctor, give time to the consultation, figure out, ask your doctor. If you feel the doctor is not forthcoming with enough information, feel free to ask them that I feel that I need to know about the side effects of this medicine. Please counsel me about it. Once you have understood that, then you make a conscious, let's say, a conscious decision or a conclusion with your doctor. Whether you want to use medication for that particular condition or you would like to try alternative methods. Once you have figured out that you want to use the drug, read a little about it if you have the chance to, understand the side effects, understand what you may need to know before figuring out whether it's a side effect or it's a normal occurrence. Once you have that little background information, then you're in the right place to have the medication. Use medication only when it's absolutely necessary, under supervision. Do not take medicines off the shelf without a prescription. And secondly, every medicine has some side effects. To a lot of people, paracetamol may be the simplest thing on the earth. But going back to my postgraduate years, I was in the casualty at Gangaram and somebody just popped in a paracetamol pill in front of me and just collapsed. And that was the last we saw of that person. So anything as simple as paracetamol can lead to death, but that doesn't mean that we stop having medication totally. So there are merits, there are demerits, there are upsides, there are downsides to each medication. And of course, if we have a concern, we have to be treated. So everything has to be looked at in totality. There is no pragmatically saying, do not touch this drug, do not touch a painkiller, but yes, use them judiciously, sensibly, and in conjunction with your doctor.